everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tracy Takes On, the show that talks about all things political and sometimes not political. I'm joined by my panelists, Charles and Talisha. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Okay, so there's only a few things to talk about today. I'm surprised because I thought, oh, this is gonna be a busy day. So the George Floyd murder trial, the jury is now in deliberation. So I guess the defense quit making their silly arguments. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I tell you, my thought is it should only take maybe about 15 or 20 minutes to deliberate this case, Uh, it must be racist people holding out if they find him not guilty on any of the charges. So that's my feeling about it. What
What?
was funny too with the closing argument this morning, well, I caught part of it on the news when they were playing it back, and the prosecutors still mentioned that, after what, almost a year since this incident happened, that they still refer to the $20 bill as an alleged counterfeit bill. So to me, that they haven't even checked or determined if this bill was even fake or not.
Well, what time did they go
That
into
is strange.
deliberation?
I'm sorry.
What time did they go into deliberation?
Well, it had to have been sometime this afternoon. I just got back
And
home.
they're still at it. Yeah, that's
Well,
where I'm like,
they just started. I mean, all day they've been, they did the closing, and then the defense puts on their closing argument, and then the prosecutor comes back and to rebuttal the defense's closing argument, and then they close the case, and then they go into deliberation. I don't even know if they would have went into deliberation today, since it was so late in the day. I know they're going to be sequestered, so maybe they might want to work through the night to get this done. But I mean, gee, the video just says it all. It's
Right.
nothing
you know,
else
they
to
deliberate. This
to
should.
add to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Talisha. Go ahead.
Um, so yeah, that is a little strange that it should literally have taken 15 minutes. So that's a little worrisome. It's also worrisome that the National Guard has been there going on 6 weeks now. So it's almost like somebody knows something we don't know. But I don't think this jury has any choice. I think they know if they hand back anything other than guilty, it's going to be a war. And so maybe they're just really weighing the evidence heavy. I don't know, but all I know is they have no choice because everybody saw what happened. Not it wasn't just Minneapolis that decided that this was just not okay. The entire world began to protest because of the way white cops are killing black people at this alarming rate. They have no choice but to bring back a guilty verdict, unless I don't even want to know what this country's going to turn into.
You know, I'm thinking way back when I was in high school when Rodney King got beat, and we all saw it, and we all like, there's no way that the jury will come back with any other thing other than guilty. But lo and behold, guess what happened? Came back with a non-guilty verdict. I am so frustrated because I don't understand. I guess I don't understand, like you guys, what's taking so long. Just look at his knee on. Look at that man's knee on George Floyd's neck. That should be it. Unless they're seeing something we're not seeing.
Absolutely.
That's got to be the only explanation. And I forgot about the National Guard being there Because remember the last time that the National Guard got called out to Kentucky? What happened with the Breonna Taylor case? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know if it's not guilty. With I doubt that it's going to be not guilty because there's two black jurors on there. My fear is it's going to
I
be a
thought it was more. I thought it was like four.
there are two.
That was four.
Well, it's either going to
Wow.
be
It's a
it's
mistrial is
either
what I
going
think
to
is
be
going to happen.
it's either going to be a guilty or a hung jury. It's not coming back as not guilty. He's not going to be found not guilty on any of those charges. It's going to be a hung jury, and then they have to determine if they want to do it again. But it
Oh,
won't
they'll
be
do it again.
guilty. It's going
Yeah,
to be either
they
guilty
would
or
have no
hung
choice
jury.
but to do it again.
Huh?
They, if
Yeah,
they
right.
Mm.
back a hung
It's
jury and they say, "Oh no, we're not going to go back," they might as well just lock it up because it's not going to go well for them.
well, I'm wondering
Mm-mm.
too, is the federal government going to charge him with uh, civil rights violation? Because they can have a trial too.
I wondered about that, and there was no word. I think someone asked, did someone ask Biden's press secretary about that or not? I can't remember, but I haven't heard anything about him being charged federally, which is
Well, they're
like
probably waiting and to see how this goes.
goes, yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably in the back pocket.
yeah, so determine, if we're going to do this or not. I would think still, if if uh, if they even find him guilty, I would still think that the federal government should still have a trial too. To
Absolutely. Because I want to say what, second degree manslaughter, no more than 10
no,
years.
it would be civil rights violation. That's what you
No, no, no.
deprive this person.
I'm saying even if he's found guilty in Minnesota, that second degree manslaughter charge, what is that, max 10 years?
And
Yeah,
don't forget about time served. If he gets off for good behavior, that's 5.
yeah. So I would
Mm,
still expect
disgusting.
the federal government to to have a trial, and whenever I guess he finished with the state, then he'll do federal time.
And did they say why they brought up the
That
counterfeit bill now thing? Because that literally, when I
No,
heard this argument, I was like,
he was just mentioning that in his closing arguments about him being all this happening over an alleged counterfeit $20 bill. And I'm saying, well, like it says, a year later, that bill shouldn't be alleged. It should be either counterfeit or it should be real. It shouldn't be they don't
right.
know, and they're saying they still don't know, like they didn't test it or anything.
and then that reaps in somebody's head. You get a crazy juror. It's like, okay, if they couldn't prove that, well, how can I believe you? Just all it takes is person. One person can turn this whole thing around. I would like to think they don't have a choice, but I'm just like, my gut says it's gonna be not guilty. I want to be wrong so bad.
It's not going to be not guilty. It's going to be a hung jury. It's not going to be not guilty. They either have to do it unanimously either way. So if it's
Right.
not, it's a hung jury, mean we can try you again.
Or what'll
Right.
happen is he'll get
Right.
one of the charges they'll find him guilty on, and then one he'll get off on.
Well, that's fine, long as he's gonna do some time, okay? I mean,
He's got to do
it's
more than a couple of years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gets on that little one, that third one that I thought was like 2 years. I'm like, nope, that's not gonna suffice.
I haven't seen a prosecution of a police like this in my whole life, okay? So just that alone, I mean, people have woke up. This George Floyd movement wasn't just black people out there. It was white people out there and stuff that used to believe that, what the
Everybody.
police said was true and stuff. And now, these videos is showing different.
Yep, and we had, of course, in my hometown of Indianapolis, we had the nation's seventh mass shooting that took place.
Mm.
8 people got killed at their FedEx. At FedEx, no, 19 years old with a gun. Of course, no back. They did a background check, but it's
Well,
just
no. You know what? That's messed up because last year the police went to his house and
yep.
took his shotgun, and and so how you gonna let him, give him the privilege to go buy a gun when you just went to his house and took a gun,
Because he
for
lives in the
mental
state.
for mental reasons.
Because he lives in the state of Indiana. It literally makes no sense.
And he's white.
Oh yeah,
Don't forget that one.
Yeah, now he did. I mean, the people that he killed, they were all either Sikhs or young girls.
Well, no, it would sound like it was some white names on there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he did kill 2 females that were white, but the majority of people that he killed were Sikhs.
Was he a disgruntled worker? Because he
He
worked
was
there.
a former employee. They refused
Former.
to disgruntled, but you don't have to be Jessica Fletcher to put that together. I mean, it's like he's a disgruntled worker. He came in there, he shot it up, blah blah blah. I mean, you know what happened, or we know what happened, but they haven't said too much about it since then. The police are holding the mayor held a press conference. Really, I'm like, why are you holding this? You're not saying anything because they keep saying they're investigating. So,
well, I think they said it's been like, has it been like 47 mass shootings this year already?
147. 147.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not even hearing nothing.
And we're only 4
about
months in.
the massage parlor shootings. So, man, it's like they keep
because you can't have a chance. You
recover from one, here comes the next one.
The minute one story comes out, yes, it's so sad. And first of all, if you saw him, he looks like he was 12. So on top, first of all, why are you having so many issues at 19 years old that you feel your only resolution is to go take up a gun and kill someone? So ball is dropped there, because best believe this is probably not the first time he's had a problematic thing. So that's going untreated. Mental illness is ignored in this country. That's number one. Number two is these guns are so unfettered. They're so rampant. It's hard to lock them down. And then we have mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting, and nothing is done to try to stop it, curb it, nothing. However, I think we brought up on Saturday, Johnson & Johnson had 6 deaths out of 6 million vaccines, and they paused it. Now you telling me 147 mass shootings since January, and we got nothing? Oh, that's right. Biden wants to do something with the fake guns.
Yeah, what was that?
Biden wants to do something with the assembled guns.
Yeah, I heard
shenanigans.
Like, if you don't sit yourself down somewhere and be quiet, because that was a terrible answer. Oh, I did an executive order. Keep that to yourself, because it just literally, I was like, okay, I know with no matter what gun laws that you pass, somebody's going to get a gun if they want one. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But at least call for a ban on assault weapons. Nobody needs military weapons to protect their home. Nobody. And it's just
or the high occupancy magazines. You don't need all of that either.
Yeah, and
well, too, you need to stop the sellers from selling to just anybody. You know, that you just have to stop that and start
Yes.
putting them in jail, making them making that a crime. Uh, but you have to have a national list and say,
And you can't sue the sellers.
right, right. But
And
you
you can't
need,
sue the sellers for
yeah,
the
but
gun death.
you need to
They have
be,
immunity right now.
Wait a minute. I thought the people that manufactured the Sandy Hook. Wait a minute. I thought somebody got sued, and then the judge said, "Oh yes, you can be sued." Was
okay,
it
but
Sandy Hook?
I still guess that's
Last I checked,
ongoing.
they have
I
immunity,
didn't
and they're
hear
talking about
the
taking that
report.
off the table.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to check because I thought for sure they sued the gun manufacturer. They lost, and then the judge came back and said, "Oh yes, you can sue them." And then they continued. I think they settled. They end up settling or something like that. I'll check it though. But then you had a
You
shooting.
know, I think before you
Okay.
can buy a gun, there needs to be some kind of national training that you have to do. You have to be certified to get a license to be able to purchase a gun. You just don't go out and purchase a gun. Like you want a driver's license, well, you got to pass a driving test. You just don't go to the DMV and get a license and stuff. You have to pass a test to get that license. So, that needs to be, I think, addressed too. You're not gonna catch everything, but you got to do things to slow it down at
Yeah,
least.
like
Right.
NRA.
Right.
I just love the NRA. I don't, but I cannot with them. But then there was a shooting in Chicago that really, I mean, it got me more upset than the shooting here in Indianapolis, where a 13-year-old child, was shot just by running. And then the prosecutor at first said there was a gun, but you could clearly see in the video that the child had his hands up. Then there was another situation in, I want to say, Atlanta, where a 72-year-old woman, her arm was broken by police officers. She had dementia, so she walked out of Walmart and forgot to pay for something, and they broke her arm. I'm like, what is wrong?
$14 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't even like she had
It's
dementia. Are you serious?
Like I
right.
say,
Um,
whatever the police are doing is it's not surprising. I've been saying for years they keep giving the
mm,
police more and more power, and one day they're gonna need to take it back from them, and they ain't gonna be able to do it. They need to start taking this power back from them now. I hope Nazario, I hope he's able to sue the cops, because that's who he was suing. He wasn't suing the police department. He was suing the cop that pepper sprayed him. And I like to see
they
how that
both.
goes.
Yeah, and I wonder
I
on
know
that.
it's a federal lawsuit.
That's a federal one because.
Hmm.
And why? What was wrong with the police department that they just now fired him? They just wait. They didn't investigate that when that happened. I mean,
Well, they didn't say when they fired him, because
No, no,
they
no.
won't
They
give a
fired him
date.
after the
they
video.
fired him after it. They
No,
definitely
no,
waited
they
months.
It was
didn't. They
after.
didn't. No, they didn't give a date. They were. That's when we found out about it. But they refused to say the exact date, because they're saying that they had a investigation was going on since December, since the incident happened in December.
Okay,
We found out when
the video went viral.
when the
He
video
filed his
became
lawsuit.
public. That's when we found out about it. But they didn't say. They won't say. They were questioned about when was the date that you fired this person. Did you just fire him? And they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't.
Well, wait a minute. If the incident happened in December, what is this? April. So you got December,
Yep.
January, February, March. It takes you 4 months.
No,
Really?
no, it took 4 months
Right.
to get into the media, and the video release that didn't come into play until after the lawsuit was filed.
But that's not my question, though. I'm saying if the incident happened in December, I'm just going to assume it happened in December. How is it taking this long to do an investigation, which I assume is still going on because I haven't heard anything about them saying anything else about it. I haven't heard them holding a press conference saying, okay, we're okay with this, or no, this is totally wrong. I haven't heard that. So even if they launch the investigation in December, this is April, almost May. Like it takes this long?
Sure, when you're doing a police, it take about a year to finish investigating the police if you're going through due process. And most of the time, he ends up going back to work. You know, it just doesn't happen that quick. Uh, and like I say, I don't know when they actually fired this guy. They could have fired him a couple of days after it happened. They just didn't put it in the news. It didn't go in the news. It would have been nice if it went in the news when it actually happened. But we're finding out 4 months later
Later. That's what making me mad. I'm
when
like,
it when
okay.
it happened, and that was only because of Nazario filing the police, not the police, but the lawsuit. That's when everything became
Right.
public. And they released the
Yeah, but
tapes
I'm pretty sure
and
he wasn't fired till after.
Yeah,
so
I was
I'm sure.
almost certain he wasn't fired until after. I was almost certain, I could be wrong, but I was 99% confident that he didn't get fired until the public was like, okay, what's with this?
Wilding out.
Well,
Right.
because we don't know where
Because
he was.
the
We
day
don't know.
after the day after the video aired,
That's when they
the day
said
after
he
the
had
video
been.
aired and everybody was wilding out. Right. So
And this
we could
happened.
probably look into it a little more, but I really do think they waited till the heat came on.
Yeah, because I'm like, y'all waited. You couldn't have issued a statement like, hey, we're not going to comment about this because of, it's an investigation. Nope. And now I believe, if I'm right, this is going to seep over and be a federal case. Am I not? I'm pretty much right about that. I know.
It is.
Yeah, because
It is. It is. It's a federal lawsuit. But and then it's just the cops everywhere. They're wilding out. They have no self-control. Charles is absolutely right. It's the unfettered power. And granted, right now the biggest recipients of their abuse is Black and brown, but it's coming for the white folks. They are not safe. That lady down in Georgia that they broke her arm, that was an old white lady.
there was an old
And
white
no one
lady.
wants to see they're gonna see their old white grandmothers in the face of this lady that has dementia that he abused. And what do? They put him on administrative leave. If nothing else, put him on unpaid leave until the investigation. Because we already know you broke her arm over
And
$14.
that's the sad thing that, we have to keep.
What we don't know is why.
Yeah, it's like, why? And I know this it's a sad statement to make in America where it takes someone white getting killed or injured for this. Oh, it's a problem. No, it
Well,
was already a problem.
I hate
Yeah.
to say this, but when stuff happens, I'm glad it happened to a white person, because nothing's a problem in America until it happens to a white person.
Yep, unfortunately.
It could happen to a Black person for 100 years and stuff, and it ain't a problem. But then when it start happening to white people, then it's a problem then, and it's gonna be
It's a
dealt
crisis.
with.
Yeah, look at the
White white people,
Right. Look at the crack epidemic.
they don't go to the church and pray or go demonstrate or march. They will go home and get their guns. Okay, they are the most violent people on the
or
face of the
blow up their
world.
Congress people's lines.
Yep. So, yeah, it's good that it happened to a white person. Now maybe they'll start paying attention, and police are doing things to white people also. We might not see it in the news, but
Yeah,
the thing is, white people have equal justice under the law, and they seem to be able to get their
absolutely.
grievances addressed through normal process. Black people don't get that. And
No,
then
no,
that's why,
Nope.
tempers uh, just rise and rise until, it just blows, and then you got a riot. When you have a riot, you get people's attention then. Now they want to kind of listen. Well,
Right,
why you were rioting? This I had to do this to get your attention. It wasn't because I wanted that
right.
65-inch flat screen TV. It was I was trying to get your attention.
well,
So,
you still have
Right.
politicians when you talk about the George the rioting that took or the protests that took place. They'll go to the rioters. They shouldn't riot. I don't want to see how
Mm.
infuriating that. Listen, that's first of all, it's property. So boo hoo, watch me cry. I don't care. As long as you don't hurt people, that's all I ask.
Right,
People over property. But stop with this whole rioters thing.
right.
I think if the situation, especially in the George Floyd case, had been reversed, if that was a black cop that put his knee on a white person's neck, no question, first of all, murder would have been the charge, period, point blank, no
Mm-hmm.
doubt about it. There wouldn't have
that
been
trial would have been
aggravated
Mm-hmm.
over already.
anything. There'd have
It
been
would have been over already.
this
But
trial would have been
Yep.
exactly. You would have been talking about maybe a 10-minute deliberation, maybe.
Mm. Absolutely.
Now you're looking
Absolutely.
at what, at least a couple hours when I'm thinking, y'all should be done about now, shouldn't you? Shouldn't you? Y'all
They should have went in that room.
said
They
guilty
should have in that
before
room.
that. Yep, they should have definitely said guilty, walked back out, and then said, okay, we're done.
that's it.
I
I
mean, that's
agree.
it. Like, no, we're not even going to deliberate this one. We already know.
Yep, they should have. The foreman should have stood up.
Don't
They
even
should have
deliberate.
stood up.
Don't go in the room. Don't do anything. Be like,
Yeah.
Your Honor, we got the decision. He guilty.
That's right. The foreman should have stood up right there in the courtroom and said, Your Honor, we don't need to go back in the jury room and deliberate. We already got a verdict.
We we are
Yeah,
finished.
but we all know there's probably yeah, but we all know that there's probably some undercover maggots, MAGA, red MAGA on that jury. And they did the bull crap with the should have complied. They probably have all those answers. And if he just would have complied, he wouldn't
He
be
did
dead now.
comply.
This is stuff that of course, I know that, but this is the mess that they allowed themselves to lie to themselves about to
But
be okay with Black
they
Death
have
in
the
this country.
video. They have the video that he complied. He complied with everything except saying that car was too small. He was claustrophobic, and he didn't want to get in there. And could you get some bigger and stuff? And then that's when they went stupid. Then it went from zero to stupid, and then that's when basically they just murdered him.
Yeah, and you have to, like
Yes,
I
but
said,
their mindset though is that you don't ever question a white person. You don't ever question police, when it's really don't question white people. So a lot of the times when they, make these rationalizations, it's really because he questioned that white man's authority. And so, yeah, we all know he did exactly what he was supposed to do and he didn't do anything wrong and he got murdered over some bull crap, some charge that he couldn't even get arrested for. We know that, but try making that sense in America the racist.
Well, that's it. That's if like I
yeah,
said, in the beginning. If you haven't deliberated in 15 minutes and found him guilty, then then that's racism in there. That's the racism
Gotta
in
be,
there.
because I'm like,
Absolutely.
they shouldn't even have to go to the back door. They should have just like, hey, we done. We finished. What are we going back there for?
Right.
We already guilty. But I did want to move on to our next topic, and I'll give before I jump to Matt Gates, something that made me happy in terms of the way some people in the military act. Jonathan, what is his name? Mr. Jonathan.
Pendleton.
Yes, Pendleton decided he was going to harass a young man that was walking down the street. And I keep hearing stories about, oh, he got in trouble previously. I don't care. He was walking down the street, not bothering anybody. So he decides to harass him. And there's a point where he says, oh, go get your family, go get your family. Well, his family decided to show up. And I'm telling you, I had a gigantoid smile on my face. I'm like, now, there's his family. What you going to do now?
Move back to the base. That's what
All
they
the black.
do. They move them back to the base. You on the base. He ain't coming off the base.
Right.
And he'll probably be discharged pretty soon too, because they're not gonna play with that. If
No.
he ain't discharged, he's gonna lose some kind of rank. And it's possible that he can be tried in civil court and tried in military court too. If that's what
Absolutely.
they choose to do. This is a bad time for him to have done something like this with
I'm just glad his
everybody
wife
trying to play
decided
like they aren't a racist now, and they're all against racism now. So I think his military career is kind of like over. And I imagine he was probably a senior NCO. Uh,
He was.
he was 42
First
years
class E7.
old. He was 42 years old, and you can't be that old
Yeah.
without having a lot of rank in the military. He wasn't
Yeah,
like
he was an
no
E7.
regular sergeant.
Yeah, so I just love
Yeah,
the response.
he was an E7.
Yeah, I love the
He
fact that
was
his
an
wife.
E7.
A sergeant first class.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he won't be that
That's the
anymore.
top
Because,
one.
yeah, he's gonna get knocked down a couple. But I love the fact that one, his wife, who was encouraging him to do that, turned the tape in. That was hilarious. So that's probably going to divorce court pretty soon, because I'm like, she threw yourself under the bus. And I loved again that the fact that so many people showed up at his home. It's like, okay, we're his family. What you gonna do when you get one place?
I was very proud of that.
I was like, yes, we need to, every time something like this happens, they didn't break any laws, they didn't get rowdy, they didn't injure them, they just stood outside. It was it just made me
Exactly.
so happy. And I'm like, yes, about time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I hope that kid gets one
So
of those
yeah, he was.
Disney World settlements when they sue when he sues this.
Well, it was
Oh, I think Alicia broke up again.
Well, it was really jacked up. Did I break up? Can
Yeah,
y'all hear me?
we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry about that, y'all. So it was really messed up because one, yeah, it was the young man's own neighborhood, and he decided, like so many white people in this country, decided they were going to police a black body, and then because he didn't recognize him, he assumed that that young man didn't belong there. For whatever reason, these white folks need to stop this mess because at the end of the day, black people are tired of it. We are tired of it. And we're not going to keep taking them trying to treat us like we're second class citizens. Man, we live here too. We pay taxes too. So yeah, Pendleton he's going to have a hard life for a little while. Unfortunately, because he probably did his 20 and probably gets to retire, he gets the top 3 of his last rank. So he'll get some E7 retirement in there, but I imagine his last days in the army are not going to be very fun. And I hope it's a lesson to him and every other white supremacist around here that decides they're going to tell a black person where they can and cannot be, because this is us from here on out. You mess with one of us, you're messing with all of us.
And they can kick him out, or take some rank from him, or just fine him, or do all three. So, I
I would
mean,
love that.
whatever happens to him, it's fine with me, because you just came out there and just went from zero to stupid. Okay,
And did you see the size
you could
difference
say what
between
you had
them?
to say
And put
and
his
go on
hands
back
on him.
in the
He
house.
put his hands on. I'm like, okay,
That's
so
it.
well, he shouldn't have been walking around the neighborhood. I thought when you went walking, you could walk anywhere. That's what I thought.
In America, you're supposed to be able to, but obviously, this guy don't know about that. So
And what made me
I guess
even
he found out about it when he was talking to his commander the next day. And when you had to move his whole family back to the base because they weren't safe where they were at their home. So, like I
Absolutely
say,
not.
after 2 days
Absolutely not.
his number, he's probably close to retirement anyway. But
Right.
I mean, because if he got in at 18, what is that? That's like
22 years, 23,
22 years,
22.
24 years.
in
It's
the
up to
in the Air Force,
Yeah,
you
he's
could
been in for
only
a
stay
hot minute.
in
So they're probably going to let him
E
retire.
and look at
E7 in the Air Force can only stay in for 24 years. So he's probably at that right now anyway.
so look what other thing concerns me though is look at the size difference between the two. That kid that he was harassing, he couldn't wait a buck.
Oh yeah.
That was I thought it was a child at first.
But when
At first I did, I was like, why is he messing with that child?
me too.
And then they said he was an adult. I'm like, really? Really?
But when black men came outside his house, he was such a punk that he stayed inside, peeking out the window. That lets you know exactly
Mm-hmm.
who Pendleton was, a big old punk.
Yeah, because I love that. I'm like, you know
Because
what?
he didn't want to come out and talk to the black people.
Well, he did. He just thought, oh, he's not gonna get anybody. Nobody's gonna find out about this. And I'm hoping that they charge the wife too, because she was egging it on. I'm like, girl, stop.
I didn't think that was
She
his wife. I
absolutely
thought
was.
that was
She
a
absolutely
white
was.
woman in the neighborhood who told him to do that. I didn't
Well,
think that was his wife.
whoever
You
that
sure
woman
that was his
is
wife?
needs to be in
No,
jail.
it was his wife. It
I
was his
thought it was his
wife.
wife.
It was
Okay.
his wife.
Because she
I,
It
recorded
was.
it too. And I'm like, girl,
So apparently some other girl was
a
walking
black
down the
girl
street,
recorded it.
didn't like the young black man. No. This was the wife, because you can hear the wife in the background talking about, how about we walk you home? Where do you live? And he was like, well, how long have y'all lived here? That's none of your business. But it's your business to know where I live in this neighborhood. Just disgusting. And she decided she was going to post it in their Facebook group, thinking it was cute that her husband basically checked this black man. And then somebody in that group released the video, and that's how it went viral, because somebody in that group had enough sense to know that they were being racist, ignorant pieces of trash. And but the crazy thing was, the sheriff's department at first only charged him with not assault. It was destruction of property, because he threw the boy's phone on the ground. But when all the backlash hit, that's when they finally arrested him for assault. So you guys, the system's working exactly like it should, because they weren't even going to charge him until stuff hit the fan.
yep, it sure did. So, but like I said, I still love the response. Like, you hurt one of us, you gonna hurt all of us, because here we come. And I loved it. And I think anytime something like this happens, keep happening. We gotta keep showing up
Absolutely.
where it needs to be shown up at. But I did want to move on to our next topic. if this man don't get himself out of Congress, Matt Gaetz, I thought last week, there's no way it could get worse. I keep being wrong, so I'm going to stop saying it can't get worse because it just got worse for him. Now, allegedly, one of the female victims is ready to speak, if I heard that right on the news.
Wonderful.
And I'm
That's
like,
amazing. That's good.
So I was like,
because I think at this point we don't know if she was 17 or 18 at the time. Apparently somebody said she was 18 at the time, but all reports point to her being a minor. So it'd be really good if she comes on the record.
All you have to do is get a birth certificate. If you know the date when he was allegedly supposed to have done this, if you could get the birth certificate, I don't know what the problem is there.
It's getting them to speak.
Exactly.
Because apparently this congressperson has a lot of influential people that he knows, including a president that's turned his back on him, a governor that won't even talk about him, and now a party that's abandoning him.
Oh, well, I think maybe they waiting to see about what Joe Greenberg gonna say, because Joe Greenberg is making a plea deal, and you don't make a plea deal. They don't just give you a plea deal really for nothing, He's gonna have to give up, and I'm sure he's gonna give up Matt Gaetz. And then, it's something he's gonna have to answer to in the near future. He's gonna have to answer. He's under investigation. He probably happy all these shootings are happening because he think he on page 8 of the newspaper right now. Because they're talking about him as much as they were talking about him, but they managed to get him into the hourly news. If it's just a minute or two or something, they managed to mention his name and what they think is going on right now. So I guess just have to be a little more patient and wait.
Yeah, because he's not making it any better by taking campaign funds and putting it in his personal league. I'm like, you just really want to go to jail, don't you? You must really want to go to jail because you keep doing stupid stuff, and I'm not understanding it.
I just like the fact that they're making his life hell, just like he making other people's life hell, they making his life hell too. If he don't go to jail, that's okay. They still made his life hell. Because he has, he's having to get lawyers and everybody. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets stripped of his committee assignments.
McCarthy, I believe McCarthy said he wasn't planning on stripping him of anything.
What's that now?
I said McCarthy has stated he's not, unless he gets charged with something.
That's what he said. That's what he said today. But you keep having all this stuff coming in on him. It won't be long. Yep. But just to make his life a living hell, that's fine with me. I'm just laughing at him, and then
he's a pretty rotten person.
Turn his back on him.
Yeah, but the fact is, there was a 17. If she were 18, okay, I would still say, yuck, dude, you almost 40. But I could at least say, well, she's legal. 17? Oh no, there's no other place.
Yeah, but then also, they looking at, well, still, whose money are you using to procure this 17-year-old? It ain't coming out. It doesn't seem like the way they're implying it's not coming out of his pocket. It's coming out of the campaign's money. So he might have a problem there.
Well, that would be even more funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be like, I never want to see people suffer in general, but this guy, I'm like, oh, run him, get him, But I wanted to move on to our next subject of um, the troops being withdrawn on September the 11th and what your thoughts are. Because I had thought it was May, which is what I thought it was. Apparently, that was the promise of the Trump administration. They backtracked on it, so now it's going to be September the 11th. I think it's about time that these soldiers come home. We've been in that war that we're not going to win way too long. We don't need to be over there. We don't have business being over there. We're wasting money. We're wasting lives. And we're wasting resources where we could use them other places.
Well, you know what? I don't understand why a country would even ask the US for military help, because that's their MO, that they'll come over there and fight until they quit. They quit. They quit the the Vietnam War. They quit well, they still got troops there in the Korean War. I mean, but it's just uh, not any violence going on right now. They pretty much gonna quit Iraq. I mean, if they need to let these countries settle their own affairs. If you got to call the military, call some other country to come help you, then that means that your government is unpopular with the people. And the government should be popular with the people. The people should be ready to accept this government. So, but obviously they're not. So they need military help because they aren't able to control the population with their own army. And then we get stuck in, pretty much fighting the whole battle while they just sit back and just watch the United States pretty much do all the fighting. The United States watch them, all the soldiers who are dying. And then when somebody goes off and starts killing people, then you ready to bring this person home and put them in prison and stuff when they shouldn't have been over there in the first place. I mean, kids were going over there. They just probably just some of them just got out of having a prom, graduating from high school, and then they heading off.
And think about it. You have
See in their whole life.
Yeah.
You don't want to see war.
You have children that were babies that were born then that are now in their early 20s. Are you serious? Are you serious? But so Talisha, before I go off on my rant on this, what do you say about it?
Well, I say war is profitable. All the people that are supposed to be making money are making money. The troops don't make money. They come home and they're not taken care of. They're basically thrown to the wolves. And right now, the government, American government, is fighting, paying disability for those burn pits over in Iraq. That's got the troops all inside. It's got all their breathing conditions and all that all jacked up because they're inhaling jet fuel. So this country is a greedy capitalist society, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do: fight wars, warmonger, go imperialize, and take over other people's countries. And finally, somebody's listening because they're bringing the troops home. I do believe we'll be coming home. Way too late, way too many deaths, way too many innocent people died. Too many poor people having to send their kids off to the military because they can't afford an education, can't afford medical, So it is the way this country is designed. And so, yes, they'll be coming home. They're not coming home when they said they were supposed to be coming home. So we may have an issue with the Taliban, which may further push back our target to come home date. But it's time. It's time to bring our troops home.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I worry about is I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be September 11th, but all the troops are not going to withdraw. All the troops are not going to be withdrawn on September the 11th.
No, it's going to be a drawdown.
It's going to be a drawdown, and I don't think we're ever going to get out of that region. I think there's some talks that contracted workers may be in that region, so we're never going to completely just cut our losses per se.
I don't know. They walked away from Vietnam, so don't say that they won't walk away from
there are
this
reports
too.
that they're going to leave those contracted soldiers there, which basically means our tax money is still paying for them. Because when the president tells people, "Oh, we're withdrawing," most people are going to think, "Oh, that's 100%." It's not. That is not a 100%. Every soldier is going to come home. And then when they come home, let's just say maybe 65% come home. What are they coming home to? What jobs are they going to have? How are they going to get treated for the mental illnesses, the things that they've suffered while they were over there, the PTSD and alcoholism? I mean, it looks like you have all these problems. Yes, I agree that they should be withdrawn because we should never have been over there. But what are we going to do when they get home?
You give them everything they want before they go to war. You give them everything they need, anything that they want, but then when they come back, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's my point. And look at like the VA hospital. Every VA hospital is basically trash. If you talk to people,
that's not true. I get my medical
trash
from the VA hospital. My hospital is great. I have nothing bad to say about my VA hospital.
Well, here's what I'll say in this regard. The people who I know that go to VA, they are talking about long waits for doctors. They can't get in for months. They have to go through all of these loops to get things. That to me is trash.
No,
it's a hit and miss.
Listen, if I can't get in to see a specialty doctor at the VA, they'll send me out. They'll outsource me to civilian doctors. Matter of fact, I just had my eyes checked at the civilian doctor because they were booked up at the VA.
They sent me out for my mammogram to a civilian doctor.
I'm sorry?
You guys are 1 in a million because.
And I said, and they sent me out for my mammogram.
Every other person who I've ever talked to has been to VA. I'm like, this sounds like trash. This sounds horrible.
So there's a history. There's a history of the VA doing that, of the VA having really bad, they weren't taking care. And so the last guy that actually Trump brought in before they fired him, he was really doing a really good job because he was making sure the VA started doing what it was supposed to do and started fixing up these facilities and started, because, they had to close Walter Reed down because they had asbestos and rats and, and then they merged it with Bethesda. So so they've started. It's on the incline, but no, 100% across the board. No, it's not the best, but it's not where it used to be either. There's been vast improvement.
It was a scandal here during Obama where the doctors were lying about treating the patient, how long it was taking to treat the patients, and instead of saying, well, we got a problem because we don't have enough people, they covered it up and they fired that guy. But now the stuff had changed in the VA, because I remember when I first started, like going to the lab, God, it was like 20 or 30 people ahead of me to give blood. Now I go to the lab now and it take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, that they gave them what they needed. But now, you're talking about all these troops are coming back. Well, I'm sure most of them will be using the VA. So, I can't speak to some people on other hospitals or speak for a person. There's some people that have real serious uh, issues going on, and I don't know
Right.
how if their issues are being satisfied, and you know, maybe you are talking to somebody who has serious issues and stuff that aren't being addressed. But as far as
Right.
I'm concerned, you know, I'm
Yeah,
getting
because I'm
mine.
like,
I'm
from
getting
what
mine
yeah,
addressed.
but what they were describing, I'm like, this is trash. I'm gonna stop complaining about my health care because this is awful. I mean, they're like, oh, my ride didn't show up, and I'm like, huh, what? Because I knew they got transportation to the places if they weren't able to drive there. But oh my goodness, I'm like, wait a minute, let's say that again. It was, in my estimation, not that I talked to every soldier, but I'm like, it just sounded trash to me. To me.
But you're not wrong. A lot of soldiers do come home. They probably have PTSD. They probably have suicidal ideology. And the military, instead of taking care of them, helping them, trying to make sure that they're provided for and they're cured, they boot them out. They out process them, and then because of them not being able to blend back into society, they end up getting fired from jobs, losing income. That's why we got about 5,000 homeless vets in this country, and nobody's helping them. And so you're not wrong, Tracy, but it's really more so the military as a whole that kind of, you know, throws these vets under the bus after they've basically put their lives on the line for our country. And then it's Congress. Congress
Well,
isn't
no,
doing their
Congress
job.
is the
And
one.
so,
Congress is the one because they won't allocate the funding necessary to
exactly.
do that. You know, they won't address. They
Yeah,
don't
but the
want to address.
military, Harry, yeah, but the military, right, but the military hurries up and out process them. So they start showing signs of distress, saying they're acting out at work or have anger management issues. They'll boot them out. They'll give them an Article 15 and kick them out of the military and basically tell them, good luck, go be somebody. So the military bears a responsibility too. But yes, Congress is not allocating the funds to make sure their disability is paid, that certain things are able to be claimed for disability.
Or that they get,
So it's
or that
a
they get,
holistic approach, and
that's,
everybody's failing them.
that's what I was saying because if you, and I've never been in war, I've never held a gun, so what do I know? But if you are in a war and you shoot somebody, not even kill them, you shoot someone, that's going to have an effect on you. So instead of increasing military spending for weapons and wars in space
Right.
and all this ridiculousness, increase military pay and increase
Yes.
benefits when they come out of the military, that they get matched up with a mental health professional. As soon as they hit that ground, it's like, okay, go see Dr. Bob Jones. Your appointment is on this day. Here you go.
Absolutely.
That
And
to me,
guaranteed housing, no matter what. Like, you will never be without a home. You can't pay your bill, all of a sudden, automatically, rent should just start kicking in
exactly.
because they should never be homeless.
And well, technically,
And who
no
gonna
one
pay
should
for
be
that?
homeless, but especially a military veteran.
America,
Yeah, no
We're gonna
American
pay
should be
for
cut that
that.
homeless.
700 billion.
We're gonna pay for that.
We can cut that 700 billion that we can cut that 700 billion that we just allotted to the military industrial complex.
Yeah, and like,
Shave
why
a
not
few
put
hundred
this into
billion off.
soldiers' hands? Why not, instead of giving them a
Exactly.
1% raise or a 3% raise, give them a 10% raise or a 20% raise? Heck, a 15% raise. I mean, from what I read, the
Right.
average person, the beginning person in the military, makes what, $17,000 or 18,000 or some low
I think it's like
ridiculous
20.
amount.
I think it's like
20, whatever,
23. It's
That's
low.
whatever
pretty
the
good
amount
money.
is,
Well, wait a minute. That's pretty good money for a teenager who just joined the workforce. We're talking about just join the workforce,
but
okay? But you
military
don't
is
have
not like a
no.
regular
They
workforce.
take care of your food. They take care of your house. You don't have to pay for housing. You don't have to pay for food. You know, that's a lot too. You know, so they're giving you a lot there. You know, And as you make rank, you start making a lot more.
How long
The
does it take to make rank?
I'm sorry.
First four ranks are given to you. Then you start testing, and once you start hitting the sergeant ranks. But Charles is drink the company Kool-Aid, so he kind of. I mean, he's right. They do provide that for you, but no, it's woefully insufficient, and they need to pay them more.
Because they're risking they're risking their lives.
Yes.
Not the workforce is I'm gonna go work at McDonald's. That's the workforce.
Well, they give you that hazardous duty pay, but it's not like they're forcing you to do this. You doing this because you have nothing else better to do.
But aren't they forcing them?
So technically, isn't that being forced?
That's technically, yeah. I was going to ask that question because that would sound like it's forced. If there's piddly job prospects, then
it's not forced. You find something else, so you don't have to go join the military. That's just,
but what are they going to find?
That's your last option. To go join. Yeah, the wars are meant to be fought by poor people. Rich people aren't supposed to be fighting wars. If you rich and you want to fight a war, you stupid, like Pat Tillman. That was stupid. He wanted to go fight a war. He needed to go have a mental health check because why you want to go out there and fight a war and then you get killed by friendly fire. I wonder how you feel now.
Because he believed all that.
Out there getting
because he believed all that patriotism bullcrap.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because he believed all that bullcrap that the Bush. Right.
They start understanding that. They start finding out what's better. Somebody kneeling to the flag, or somebody kneeling on somebody's neck. It's a big damn difference, and people are starting to wake up to that.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely
we'll have to have a draft again to fight a war. But it's so technical now that you just don't need the personnel that you had back during Vietnam. You don't need those type of people now because you have technology now that helps you fight a war and stuff. So you don't need as many people because they were kicking people out the military right after the Vietnam War because they didn't need them. Bye, we don't need you. You mess up and you gone. Whereas before you mess up a little bit and you get your little punishment, but you stand in. But they were doing anything to get people kicked out of the military. They were even given re-enlistment bonuses up until the Vietnam War ended. And then that all stopped, after the Vietnam War, because they didn't need people like they now. Like
I hate to cut you off there, but we have to end our segment because it's way past our time to end. So we're going to end with the idiot of the week, and I'll let Talisha go first.
Yay! That way y'all don't steal my thunder. I choose Marjorie Taylor Greene, Miss I'm going to form an Anglo-Saxon party or committee, which ended up getting disbanded because racism is not what's good loudly in this country. Now, we still know we have the microaggressions, but you just can't go out saying you're going to form a committee or whatever it is, a caucus for the Anglo-Saxons. And so she's my idiot of the week. I really hope they pull her out of Congress. She doesn't belong there.
The KKK, the Ku Klux Caucus. That's what she.
That's exactly what they are. The Ku Klux Caucus. Okay, Charles, you're next with your idiot of the week.
Well, you know what? I'm still with Talisha. I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene because not only that, she's talking about having Anglo-Saxon language taught in schools, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell is Anglo. it must be German. You know, I can't imagine what language she is talking about. So that's my, you know, it's like I think she's trying to bring Nazism to be taught in schools and stuff. So yeah, that's my.
possible.
Y'all were so close to making it a triple, but I got to go with my idiot Jonathan. Boy, don't you ever think it's okay.
Pendleton.
Yes, I don't want to say his last name because that's like giving him respect. But you are an idiot person.
Right.
You are exactly the definition of an idiot. You are at least twice the size of what I thought was a little boy. And you're just deciding that he doesn't belong in your neighborhood like you own every house in the neighborhood. Props to the military, props to the police for finally charging him, even though they were going to just charge him with property destruction. And props to all the black people that showed up at his house, knocked at his door, and told him, we're his family. So he is my idiot of the week. I want to thank you guys for coming this.
Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. Real quick. Can we also do an honorable mention for all the Republicans that are now coming after Maxine Waters because she basically told the protesters to turn it up a notch if they don't get the verdict they want, and they're trying to say she's trying to incite a riot. So all Republicans are idiots of the week.
But they keep it consistent. I mean, they're consistently racist, but yeah,
yes,
you're right. But again, I want to thank you guys.
Sorry.
That's okay. I want to thank you guys for coming tonight to be a part of the panel. Of course, everyone tune in on Fridays when this show airs. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and support on the Patreon because we need your support. Thank you both, Talisha and Charles, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
All right, Joe. I enjoyed the rest of the day.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Bye.